flame the summer sky. We have hearts for them in plenty, they have hearts that all too few. We alas are unacquainted, they alas are only two. We alas, alas, are 4 and 20, they alas, alas, are only two. They alas are only two. Alas, now we know we hated roses, roses white and roses red. Why we bind you into roses that your morning bloom has spread. Now we know, roses white and roses red.
Good morrow, pretty maids, for whom prepare ye these floral tributes extraordinary.
Do all you maidens love them? These gondoliers are to be envied greatly, but what of us? One and all adore you, have pity on our passion. We implore you.
These gentlemen must make their choice before you. In the meantime, we tacitly ignore you. And they have chosen to not leave you easy. 2 dozen ring, to make it your Giuseppe and Jane.
With pleasure, nobody contradicente. For the merriest fellows of each that fly on the emerald sea. With nothing and nothing and cooking and puffing, we're happy as happy can be. With nothing and nothing and cooking and puffing, we're happy as happy can be. With sorrow, there's nothing to do. And care is a thing to poo-poo. And jealousy, yellow, one fortunate fellow, we drown in the shimmering blue. And jealousy, yellow, one fortunate fellow, we drown in the shimmering blue.
Thank you.
questi fiori bellissimi.
E voi, miei signori, o eccellentissimi.
Oh cielo, oh cielo,
Buongiorno, cavalieri.
siamo gondolieri, signorina, io t'amo.
Contadine siamo,
Signorine,
contadine, cavalieri.
gondolieri,
Poveri gondolieri,
poveri gondolieri. Buongiorno, signorine.
Gondolieri carissimi, siamo contadine.
servitori umilissimi. Per noi questi fiori bellissimi.
Signorine, gondolieri.
We're called gondolieri, but that's so Palmieri. It's quite honorary, the tree that we fly. Palmieri, tree noted since we were short, continue to beauty devoted, Giuseppe and I. When morning is breaking, our crouches forsaking, to greet her awaking, with carols we come. And summer days nooning, we're nearing the mooning of in these days of the drum, our lazily drum. Our mandolins tuning, we lazily drum. The vespers are ringing, to ever clinging, with songs of our singing, our vigil we keep. When daylight is fading, we're wrapped in night shading, with some serenading, we sing them to sleep. With soft serenading, we sing them to sleep. With soft serenading, we sing them to sleep. We're gondolieri, gondolieri, tra-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la, gondolieri, gondolieri, tra-la-la-la-la, 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 tra-la-la-la-la. And now to choose our brides, as all are young and fair and amiable besides, we really do not care a preference to declare. A bias to disclose would be indelicate, and therefore we propose to let him pass. You fancy let for us a mate.
Behold, a boy is true disclose with being delicate.
But how do they propose to let him pass? You fancy let for them a mate. These handkerchiefs upon our eyes, be good enough to bind.
And take good care that both of us are absolutely blind. Then turn us round and we, with all convenience dispatch, will undertake to marry any two of you we catch.
Behold, we undertake to marry any two of them we catch.
Are you peeping? Can you see me?
Dark and keeping, dark and dreamy.
If you're blinded, truly say so.
All right-minded pay so.
On that shady they are cheating, surely they deserve a beating. There's too much is made in smoking, conduct such is truly shocking. You can spice and shut your eyes, so you can spice and shut your eyes, so you may use it by advisor.
You can see so, you can see so,
black and white and dappled gray, so turn 3 times and take your courses. Catch whichever girl you may, sir. My papa, he keeps 3 horses, black and white and dappled gray, sir.
I've at length achieved a capture. This is Tessa. Rapture, rapture.
Rapture, rapture.
To me, Gianetta, fate has granted just the very girl I wanted.
Just the very girl we wanted.
If you'd rather change,
My goodness, this indeed is simple rudeness.
I've no preference whatever.
Listen to him. Well, I never. Thank you, gallant Gondolieri. In a set and formal measure, it is scarcely necessary to express a pleasure. Each of us to prove a treasure, conjugal and monetary. Gladly we'll devote our leisure, gallant Gondolieri. And gallant Gondolieri, take us both and hold us tightly. You have luck extraordinary. We might have been unsightly. If we judge your conduct rightly, 'twas a choice involuntary. Still we thank you most for us, gay and gallant Gondolieri. Tra-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la.
Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la.
the sunny Spanish shore, the Duke of Plaza-Toro,
and his Grace's Duchess true,
and his Grace's daughter too,
and his Grace's private drum. To Venetia's shores have come, to Venetia's shores have come. And if ever they get back to Spain, they will never cross the sea again. They will never cross the sea again.
Neither that grandee from Spanish shore, the noble Duke of Plaza-Toro,
nor his Grace's Duchess staunch and true.
you may add his Grace's daughter too,
Nor his Grace's own particular drum. To Venetia's shores will come, to Venetia's shores will come. If ever they get back to Spain, they will never cross the sea again. They will never cross the sea again. They will never cross the sea again.
at last we have arrived at our destination. This is the Ducal Palace, and it is here that the Grand Inquisitor resides. As a Castilian hidalgo of 95 quarterings, I regret that I am unable to make my state visit on a horse. As a Castilian hidalgo of that description, I should have preferred to ride through the streets of Venice. But owing, I presume, to an unusually wet season, the streets are in such a condition that equestrian exercise is impracticable. No matter. Where is our suite?
Your Grace, I am here.
Why do you not do yourself the honor to kneel when you address his Grace?
Oh, my love, it is so small a matter. Still, you better do it.
The young man seems to entertain but an imperfect appreciation of the respect due from a menial to a Castilian hidalgo.
My child, you are hard upon our suite.
Papa, I have no patience with the presumptions of persons in his plebeian position. And if he does not respect that position, then let him be whipped until he does.
I am sure the omission was not intended as a slight. I should be much hurt if I thought it was. So would he. Where are the halberdiers who were to have had the honor of meeting us here, that our visit to the Grand Inquisitor might be made in becoming state?
Your Grace, the halberdiers are mercenary people who stipulated for a trifle on account.
How tiresome. Well, let us hope the Grand Inquisitor is a blind gentleman. And the band, who were to have had the honor of escorting us? I see no band.
Your Grace, the band are sordid persons who required to be paid in advance.
That's so like a band.
Insuperable difficulties meet me at every turn.
But surely they know his Grace.
Exactly, they know his Grace.
Ah, well, let us hope the Grand Inquisitor is a deaf gentleman. A cornet a piston would be something. You do not happen to possess the accomplishment of tootling like a cornet a piston.
Alas, no, Your Grace. But I can imitate a farmyard.
I don't see how that would help us. I don't see how we could bring it in.
Oh, it would not help us in the least. We are not a parcel of graziers come to market dolt.
My child, our sweet's feelings. Be so good as to ring the bell and inform the Grand Inquisitor that His Grace, the Duke of Plaza-Toro, Count Matadoro, Baron Picadoro,
And sweet?
and Sweet have arrived at Venice and seek
Desire.
Demand?
and demand an audience.
Your Grace has but to command.
I felt sure of it. I felt sure of it. And now, my love, shall we tell her? Oh. Ooh, I think we shall. And now, my love, prepare for a magnificent surprise. It is my agreeable duty to reveal to you a secret that should make you the happiest young lady in Venice.
Oh, a secret?
A secret which, for state reasons, it has been necessary to preserve for 20 years.
When you were a prattling babe of 6 months old, you were married, by proxy, to no less a personage than the infant son and heir of His Majesty, the immeasurably wealthy King of Barataria.
Married? To the infant son of the King of Barataria? Was I consulted? Then it was the most unpardonable liberty.
Consider his extreme youth and forgive him. Shortly after the ceremony, that misguided monarch abandoned the creed of his forefathers and became a Wesleyan Methodist of the most bigoted and persecuting type. The Grand Inquisitor, determined the innovation should not be perpetuated in Barataria, caused your smiling and unconscious husband to be stolen and conveyed to Venice. A fortnight since, the Methodist monarch and all his Wesleyan court were killed in an insurrection, and we are here to ascertain the whereabouts of your husband and to hail you, our daughter, as Her Majesty, the reigning Queen of Barataria.
Your Majesty.
It is moments such as these one realizes how important it is to travel with a full band.
I? The Queen of Barataria? But I have nothing to wear. We are practically penniless.
That point had not escaped me. Although I am unpleasantly in straitened circumstances at present, my social influence is something enormous, and a company to be called the Duke of Plaza-Toro Limited is in course of formation to work me. An influential directorate has been secured, and I myself shall join the board after allotment.
Am I to understand that the Queen of Barataria may be called upon at any time to witness her honoured sire in process of liquidation?
This speculation is not exempt from that drawback. If your father should stop, it will of course be necessary to wind him up.
Oh, but it's so undignified. It's so degrading. A grandee of Spain turned into a public company. Such a thing was never heard of.
My child, the Duke of Plaza-Toro doesn't follow fashions. He leads them. He always leads everybody. When he was in the army, he led his regiment. He occasionally led them into action. He invariably led them out of it. In enterprise of martial kind, when there was any fighting, he led his regiment from behind. He found it less exciting. But when away his regiment ran, his place was at the foro. That celebrated, cultivated, underrated nobleman, the Duke of Plaza-Toro.
In the first and foremost fight, you always found that night. That celebrated, cultivated, underrated nobleman, the Duke of Plaza-Toro.
When to evade destruction's hand to hide they all proceeded. No soldier in that gallant band hid half as well as he did. He stayed concealed throughout the war and so preserved his glory. That unaffected, undetected, well-connected warrior, the Duke of Plaza-Toro.
In every doughty deed, he always took the lead. That unaffected, undetected, well-connected warrior, the Duke of Plaza-Toro.
When told that they would all be shot unless they left the service, that hero hesitated not, so marvelous his worthies. He sent his resignation in the first of all his quarrel. That very knowing, overflowing, easygoing paladin, the Duke of Plaza-Toro.
To men of grosser clay, he always showed the way. That very knowing, overflowing, easygoing paladin, the Duke of Plaza-Toro. That very knowing, overflowing, easygoing paladin, the Duke of Plaza-Toro.
I trust that you will ever have reason to repent.
Nay, Luiz, it may not be. I have embraced you for the last time.
Casilda.
I have just learnt, to my surprise and indignation, that I was wed in babyhood to the infant son of the king of Barataria.
Son of the king of Barataria? The child who was stolen in infancy by the Inquisition?
The same. But of course you know his story.
Know his story? I've often told you that my mother was the nurse to whose charge he was entrusted.
How true, I had forgotten. Well, he has been discovered, and my father has brought me here to claim his hand.
But you will not recognize this marriage. It took place when you were too young to understand its import.
Nay, Luiz. Respect my principles and cease to torture me with vain entreaties. Henceforth, my life is another's.
But stay. The present and the future, they are another's, but the past, that at least is ours, and none can take it from us. as we may revel in naught else. Let us revel in that.
I don't think I grasp your meaning.
And yet it is logical enough. You say you cease to love me.
I say I may not love you.
Ah, but you do not say you did not love me.
Oh, I loved you with a frenzy that words are powerless to express. And that but 10 brief minutes since.
Exactly. My own, that is until 10 minutes since my own. My lately loved, my recently adored. Tell me that until about a quarter of an hour ago, I was all in all to thee.
Oh, I see your idea. It's ingenious. Oh, but don't do the hat.
There can be no harm in reveling in the past.
None whatever. But an embrace cannot be taken to act retrospectively.
Perhaps not.
We may recollect an embrace. I recollect many. But we must not repeat them.
Well, then let us recollect a few. Ah, Casilda, you were to me as the sun is to the earth.
Quarter of an hour ago.
About that.
Going to think that but for this miserable discovery, you would have been mine own for life.
Through life to death. A quarter of an hour ago.
How greedily my thirsty ears would have drunk the golden melody of those sweet words. A quarter. Well, it's now about 20 minutes since.
About that. In such matters, one cannot be too precise.
And now our love, so full of life, is but a silent, solemn memory.
Must it be so, Casilda?
Luiz, it must be so.
There was a time forever gone. Oh, woe is me. It was no crime to love but thee alone. Oh, woe is me. One heart, one life, one soul, one aim, one goal. Each in the other's thrall, each all in all. Oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is
me to introduce to you his distinction, Don Alhambra del Bolero, the Grand Inquisitor of Spain. It was his distinction who so thoughtfully abstracted your infant husband and brought him here to Venice.
So, this is the little lady who is so unexpectedly called upon to assume the functions of royalty. And a very nice little lady, too.
Jim, isn't she?
Distinctly. Jim, allow me. Naughty temper.
You must make allowances. Her Majesty's head is a little turned by her access of dignity.
I could have wished that Her Majesty's access of dignity had turned it in this direction.
Unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, there appears to be some little doubt as to His Majesty's whereabouts.
A doubt as to his whereabouts, then we may yet be saved.
A doubt? Oh dear, no. No doubt at all. He is here in Venice, plying the modest but picturesque calling of a gondolier. I can give you his address. I see him every day. In the entire annals of our history, there is absolutely no circumstance so entirely free from all manner of doubt of any kind whatever. Listen, and I'll tell you all about it. I stole the prince and I brought him here and left him gaily prattling with a highly respectable gondolier who promised the royal babe to rear and teach him the trade of a time on here with his own beloved prattling. Both of the babes were strong and stout, considering all things clever. Of that there is no manner of doubt, no probable possible shadow of doubt, no possible doubt whatever.
No possible doubt whatever.
But owing I'm much disposed to fear to his terrible taste for tippling, that highly respectable gondolier could never declare with a mind sincere which of the two was his offspring dear, and which the royal stripling. Which was which he could never make out, despite his best endeavors. Of that there is no manner of doubt, no probable possible shadow of doubt, no possible doubt whatever.
No possible doubt whatever.
Time sped, and when at the end of a year I sought that infant cherished, that highly respectable gondolier was lying a corpse on his humble bier. I dropped a grand inquisitor's tear. That gondolier had perished, a taste for drink combined with gout had doubled him up forever. Of that there is no manner of doubt, no probable possible shadow of doubt, no possible doubt whatever.
No possible doubt whatever.
Whatever.
The children followed his old career, this statement can't be parried. Of a highly respectable gondolier, well, one of the two who will soon be here. But which of the two, it is not quite clear, is the royal prince you married. Search in and out and round about, and you'll discover never a tale so free from every doubt, a probable possible shadow of doubt, no possible doubt whatever.
A tale so
Free from every doubt, or probable possible shadow of doubt, or possible doubt whatever.
Then do you mean to say that I am married to one of two gondoliers? But it is impossible to say which.
Without any doubt of any kind whatever. But be reassured, the nurse to whom your husband was entrusted is the mother of the musical man who is such a past master of that delicately modulated instrument. She can no doubt establish the king's identity beyond all question.
Heavens, how did he know that?
My young friend, a grand inquisitor is always up to date. His mother is at present the wife of a highly respectable and old-established brigand who carries on an extensive practice in the mountains around Cordova. Accompanied by 2 of my emissaries, he will set off at once for his mother's address. She will return with him, and if she finds any difficulty in making up her mind, the persuasive influence of the torture chamber will jog her memory. Unseemly wrangle. Such complications frequently occur. Life is one closely complicated tangle. Death is the only true unraveler.
Try we lifelong, we can never straighten out life's tangled skein. Why should we in vain endeavor, guess and guess and guess again?
Life's a pudding full of plums.
Cares a canker that benumbs.
Life's a pudding full of plums. Cares a canker that benumbs. Therefore waste our elocution on impossible solution. Life's a pleasant institution. Let us take it as it comes. Let us take it as it comes. Set aside the dull enigma. We shall guess it all too soon. Failure brings no kind of stigma. Dance we do another tune. String the heart and the cup. Lest from sorrow we should sup. String the lyre, fill the cup. Lest on sorrow we should sup. Hop and skip to fancy's fiddle, hands across and down the middle. Life's perhaps the only riddle, and we shrink from giving up. Life's perhaps the only riddle, and we shrink from giving up. Then take it as it comes, take it as it comes. String the lyre, fill the cup, lest on sorrow we should sup. Take life as it comes.
Then the one. Every kind of trouble goes when the last year's snows have gone. Sunlight takes the place, shakes the place of shade. When Mary, 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 every song's a song. All is right and nothing's wrong. When a merry maiden marries, sorrow goes and pleasure tarries. Every sound becomes a song. All is right and nothing's wrong. No caretaking sorrow, get ye gone until tomorrow. Jealousies and revelry, ye are things of yesterday. When you marry, marry, maiden, then the air with joy is laden. All the corners of the earth ring with music sweetly played. Worry is melodious mirth, grief is joy in masquerade. Silent night is love in day. The year is merry, 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 May. All the year is merry, merry.
And now our lives are going to begin in real earnest. What's a bachelor? A mere nothing. He's a chrysalis. He can't be said to live. He exists.
What a delightful institution marriage is. Why have we wasted all this time? Why didn't we marry 10 years ago?
Because you couldn't find anybody nice enough. Because you were waiting for us.
I suppose that was the reason. We were waiting for you without knowing it. Hello.
Good morning.
If this gentleman's an undertaker, it's a bad omen.
Ceremony of some sort going on?
He is an undertaker. No, just a private family gathering. Nothing in your line.
Somebody's birthday, I suppose.
Yes, mine. And mine.
And mine.
And mine.
Curious coincidence. And how old may you all be?
It's a rude question. But about 10 minutes.
Remarkably fine children. But surely you are jesting.
In other words, we were married about 10 minutes since.
Married? You don't mean to say you are married?
Oh, yes, we are married.
Both of you.
All four of us!
Oh, bless my heart, how extremely awkward.
Oh, well, you don't mind, I suppose. You were not thinking of either of us for yourself, I presume. Oh, Giuseppe, look at him. He was. He's heartbroken.
No, I wasn't.
Now, my man, we don't want anything in your line today. And if your curiosity's satisfied, you can go.
You mustn't call me your man! It's a liberty! I don't think you know who I am.
Not we indeed. We are jolly Gondoliers, sons of Baptista Palmieri, who led the last revolution! Republicans, heart and soul, we hold all men to be equal. As we abhor oppression, we abhor kings. As we detest vainglory, we detest rank. As we despise effeminacy, we despise wealth.
We are Venetian gondoliers, your equals in everything except our calling, and in that, at once, your masters and your servants.
Bless my heart, how unfortunate. One of you may be Baptisto's son, for anything I know to the contrary, but the other is no less a personage than the only son of the late King of Barataria.
What?
And I trust it was that one who slapped me on the shoulder and called me his man.
One of us
Not brothers? But which is it?
What does it matter? As you are both Republicans and hold kings in detestation, of course you'll abdicate at once. Good morning.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Well, as to that, of course there are kings and kings. When I say I detest kings, I mean I detest bad kings.
I see. It's a delicate distinction.
Quite so. Now, I can conceive a kind of king, an ideal king, the creature of my fancy, you know, who would be absolutely unobjectionable. A king, for instance, who would abolish taxes, make everything cheap except gondolas.
And give a great many free entertainments to the gondoliers.
And let off fireworks on the Grand Canal and engage all the gondolas for the occasion.
And scramble money on the Rialto among gondoliers.
Such a king would be a blessing to his people. And if I were a king, that is the sort of king I would be.
And so would I.
Come, I'm glad to find your objections are not insuperable.
Oh, no, they're not
Not
insuperable.
No, they're not insuperable.
Besides, we are open to conviction.
Yes, they are open to conviction.
They've often been convicted.
Our views may have been hastily formed on insufficient grounds. They may be crude, ill-digested, erroneous. I've a very poor opinion of the politician who is not open to conviction.
Oh, he's a fine fellow.
Yes, that's the sort of politician for my money.
And then we'll consider it settled. Now, as the country is in a state of insurrection, it is absolutely necessary that you should assume the reins of government at once. And until it is ascertained which of you is to be king, I have arranged that you will reign jointly, so that no question can arise hereafter as to the validity of any of your acts.
As one individual.
As one individual.
Like this?
Something like that.
And we may take our friends with us and give them places about the court?
Undoubtedly. That's always done.
Well, I'm convinced.
So am I.
The sooner we're off, the better. We'll just run home and pack up a few things.
Stop! That won't do at all. Ladies are not admitted.
What?
Not admitted. Not at present. Afterwards, perhaps, we'll see.
Why, you don't mean to say you're going to separate us from our wives?
This is very awkward. Only for a time. A few months. After all, what is a few months?
But we've only been married half an hour.
Kind sir, you cannot have the heart our lives to part from those to whom an hour ago we were united. Before our flowing hopes you still are, look at them and pause before you deal this blow uninvited.
not give way to this uncalled for grief. Your separation will be very brief. To ascertain which is a king and which the other, to that a terrier's court I'll bring his foster mother. Her former nursling to declare she'll be delighted. That's settled. Let each happy pair be reunited.
Viva, his argument is strong. Viva, will not be parted long. Viva, it will be settled soon. Viva, then comes our honeymoon. Viva, viva, viva.
Then one of us will be a queen and sit on a golden throne, with a crown instead of a hat on her head and diamonds all her own, with a beautiful robe of gold and green. I've always understood. I wonder whether she'd wear a feather. I rather think she should.
Oh, 'tis a glorious thing I mean to be a regular royalty. No half and half affair, I mean no half and half affair, but a regular royalty. She'll drive about in a carriage and pair with a king on her left-hand side, with a milk-white horse as a matter of course whenever she wants to ride, with beautiful silver shoes to wear upon her dainty feet, with endless stocks of beautiful frocks, and as much as she wants to eat. Oh, 'tis a glorious thing I mean to be a regular royalty. No half and half affair, I mean no half and half affair, but a regular royal queen.
Whenever she condescends to walk, be sure she'll shine at that, with a haughty stare and a nose in the air like a well-born aristocrat. At elegant high society talk, she'll bear away the bell with a howdy-do and a how are you, and I trust I see you well.
Oh, 'tis a glorious thing I mean to be a regular royalty. No half and half affair, I mean no half and half affair, but a regular royal queen.
And noble lords will scrape and bow and double themselves in two, and open their eyes in blank surprise at whatever she likes to do. And everybody will roundly vow she's fair as flowers in May, and say, how clever, at whatsoever she condescends to say. Oh, 'tis a glorious thing I mean to be a regular royalty. No half and half affair, I mean no half and half affair, but a regular royal queen.
Oh, 'tis a glorious thing I mean to be a regular royal queen. A right down regular royal
as I
find I'm a
king to my
kingdom, I
bid you all I'm a
where you
object to
pavilions and
palaces, but you'll
find I
respect your
republican
fallacies. You'll
find I
respect your
republican
fallacies.
No, we object to pavilions and palaces. How can they respect our republican fallacies?
For everyone who feels inclined find. Suppose we undertake to find congenial with his frame of mind, and all shall equal be.
The Chancellor in his peruke, the Earl, the Marquis, and the Duke, the groom, the butler, and the cook, they all shall equal be.
The aristocrat who banks with coots, the aristocrat who hunts and shoots, the aristocrat who cleans a boot, they all shall equal be.
The noble lord who rules the state, the noble lord who cleans the plate,
The noble lord who scrubs the grate, they all shall equal be.
the Lord High Bishop on the docks, the Lord High Coachman on the box,
The Lord High Vagabond in the stocks, they all shall equal be.
for everyone who feels inclined, suppose we undertake to find congenial in his frame of mind, congenial in his frame of mind, and all shall equal be.
Sing high,
Sing low wherever they go, sing high, sing low wherever they go, wherever they go, wherever they go, they all shall equal be. Sing high, sing low wherever they go, sing high, sing low wherever they go, wherever they go, wherever they go, they all shall equal be.
Conflicting feelings rend my soul apart. The thought of royal dignity elates me. But leaving thee behind me breaks my heart.
Farewell, my love, on board you must be getting. What while upon the sea you gaily roam, remember that our heart for thee is fragrant.
in Barataria you may see a monarchy that's tempered with republic and equality. This form of government we find the beau ideal of its kind.
A despotism strict combined with absolute equality, with absolute equality.
Of happiness the very pith in Barataria you may see a monarchy that's tempered with republic and equality, republic and equality.
Two kings are bound to pride, bereft to act in perfect unity, whom you can order right and left with absolute impunity, who put their subjects at their ease by doing all they can to please, and thus to earn their bread and cheese seize every opportunity, and thus to earn their bread and cheese seize every opportunity. We act in perfect unity. We act in perfect unity.
Of happiness the very pith in Barataria you may see a monarchy that's tempered with republic and equality, republic and equality, tempered with equality.
Gentlemen, we are much obliged to you for your expressions of satisfaction and good feeling. I say, we are much obliged to you for your expressions of satisfaction and good feeling.
We heard you.
We are delighted at any time to fall in with sentiments so charmingly expressed.
That's all right. At the same time, there is just one little grievance we should like to ventilate.
What?
Don't be alarmed. It's not serious. It is arranged that until it is decided which of us two is the actual king, we are to act as one person.
Exactly.
Now, although we act as one person, we are in point of fact two persons.
Oh, I don't think we can go into that. It's a legal fiction. Legal fictions are solemn things. Situated as we are, we can't recognise two independent responsibilities.
No, but you can recognise two independent appetites. But it's all very well to say we act as one person, but when you supply us with only one ration between us, I should describe it as a legal fiction carried a little too far.
It's rather a nice point. I don't like to express an opinion offhand. Suppose we reserve it for argument before the full court?
Yes, but what are we to do in the meantime?
We want our tea!
I think we can make an interim order for double rations on their majesties, entering into the solemn undertaking to indemnify in the event of an adverse decision.
That, I think, will meet the case. But you must work hard. Stick to it. Nothing like work.
Oh, certainly. We quite understand that a man who holds a magnificent position of king should do something to justify it. Well, we are called, Your Majesty. We are allowed to buy ourselves magnificent clothes. Our subjects frequently nod to us in the streets. The sentries always return our salutes. And we enjoy the inestimable privilege of heading the subscription lists to all the principal charities. In return for these advantages, the least we can do is to make ourselves useful about the palace. Rising early in the morning, we proceed to light the fire. Then our Majesty, adorning in its work our day attire, we embark without delay on the duties of the day. First we polish off some batches of political dispatches and foreign politicians circumvent. Then if business isn't heavy, we may hold a royal levy or ratify some acts of parliament. Then we probably review the household troops with the usual shallow humps and shallow hoops, or receive with ceremonial and state.
An interesting Eastern potentate. After that we generally go and dress our private valet. It's a rather nervous duty, he's a touchy little man. Write some letters literary for our private secretary. He is shaky in his spelling, so we help him if we can. Then in view of craving dinner, we go down and order dinner. Then we polish the regalia and the coronation plate. Spend an hour in titivating all our gentlemen in waiting, or we run on little errands for the ministers of state. Oh, philosophers may sing of the troubles of the king, yet the duties are delightful and the privilege is great. But the privilege and pleasure that we treasure beyond measure is to run on little errands for the ministers of state.
Oh, philosophers may sing of the troubles of a king, yet the duties are delightful and the privilege is great. But the privilege and pleasure that we treasure beyond measure is to run on little errands for the ministers of state.
After luncheon making merry on a bun and glass of sherry, if there's nothing in particular to do, we may make a proclamation or receive a deputation, then we possibly create a peer or two. Then we help a fellow creature on his path, with the garter or the thistle or the bath. Or we dress and toddle off in semi-state to a festival, a function, or a fete. Then we go and stand a sentry at the palace private entry, marching hither, marching thither, up and down and to or fro, while the warrior on duty goes in search of beer and beauty, and it generally happens that he hasn't far to go. He relieves us if he's able, just in time to lay the table. Then we dine and serve the coffee, and at 12:30 with a pleasure that's emphatic, we retire to our attic with the gratifying feeling that our duty has been done. Oh, philosophers may sing of the troubles of the king, but of pleasures there are many and of worries there are none. And the culminating pleasure that we treasure beyond measure is the gratifying feeling that our duty has been done.
Oh, philosophers may sing of the troubles of a king, but of pleasures there are many and of worries there are none. And the culminating pleasure that we treasure beyond measure is the gratifying feeling that our duty has been done.
Yes, it really is a very pleasant existence. Well, they're all so singularly kind and considerate. You don't find them wanting to do this or wanting to do that or saying, "It's my turn now." No, they let us have all the fun to ourselves and never seem to grudge it.
It makes one feel quite selfish. It almost seems like taking advantage of their good nature.
How nice they were about the double rations.
Most considerate. There's only one thing wanting to make us thoroughly comfortable.
And that is?
The dear little wives we left behind us 3 months ago.
Yes. It is dull without female society. We can do without everything else, but we can't do without that.
And if we have that in perfection, we have everything. There is only one recipe for perfect happiness. Take a pair of sparkling eyes, hidden ever and anon in a merciful eclipse. Do not heed their mild surprise, having passed the Rubicon. Take a pair of rosy lips. Take a figure trimly planned, such as admiration weds. Be particular in this. Take a tender little hand, fringed with dainty fingerets. Press it, in parenthesis. Take all these, you lucky man. Take and keep them if you can. If you can, take all these, you lucky man. Take and keep them if you can. If you can. Take a pretty little court, quite a miniature affair, hung about with trellised vine. Furnish it upon the spot with the treasures rich and rare I've endeavored to define.
Live to love and love to live. You ripen at your ease, growing on the sunny side. Fate has nothing more to give. You're a dainty man to please. If you're not satisfied, take my counsel, happy man, act upon it if you can. Take my counsel, happy man, act upon it if you can. Take my counsel, happy man, act upon it if you can. Act upon it if you can, happy man, if you can. delightful surprise.
Yes, we thought you'd like it. You see, it was like this. After you left, we felt very dull and mopey, and the days crawled by, and you never wrote. So at last I said to Gianetta, I can't stand this any longer. Those two poor monarchs haven't got anyone to mend their stockings, or sew their buttons, or patch their clothes. At least I hope they haven't. Let us all pack up a change and go see how they're getting on. And she said done, and they all said done. And we asked old Giuseppe to lend us his boat, and he said done. Crossed the sea, and thank goodness that's done. And here we are, and I've done. And now, which of you is king? Which of us is queen?
Ah, that we shan't know until nurse turns up. But, never mind that. The real question is, how are we going to celebrate the commencement of our honeymoon? Gentlemen, will you allow us to offer you a magnificent banquet?
We will!
Oh, thanks very much. And ladies, what do you say to a dance?
Oh, a banquet and a dance? Oh, it's too much happiness.
not exactly. Just a friendly little dance, that's all. Sorry you're late.
But I saw a groom dancing and a footman.
Oh, yes, that's the Lord High Footman.
Dear me, a common little drummer boy.
Oh dear, no. That's the Lord High Drummer Boy.
But surely the servants' hall is a place for these gentry.
Oh dear, no. We've appropriated the servants' hall. It's the royal apartment and accessible only by tickets obtainable at the Lord Chamberlain's office.
Yes, we really must have some place we can call our own.
I'm afraid I'm not quite equal to the intellectual pressure of the conversation.
You see, the monarchy has been remodeled on republican principles.
What?
All departments rank equally and everybody is at the head of his department.
I see.
I'm afraid you're annoyed.
No, I won't say that. It's not quite what I expected.
I'm awfully sorry.
So am I.
By the by, is there anything I can offer you after your voyage? A plate of macaroni and a rusk.
No, nothing.
Obliged to be careful?
Yes. Gout. You see, in every court there are distinctions that must be observed.
There are there?
Why, of course. For instance, you wouldn't have a Lord High Chancellor play leapfrog with his own cook.
Why not?
Why not? Because a Lord High Chancellor is a personage of great dignity, who should never, under any circumstances, place himself in the position of being told to tuck in his tuppenny. Except by noblemen of his own rank. A Lord High Archbishop, for instance, might tell a Lord High Chancellor to tuck in his tuppenny. But certainly not a cook, gentlemen. Certainly not a cook.
Not even a Lord High Cook?
My good friend, that is a rank that is not recognized at the Lord Chamberlain's office.
But what I meant to say...
No, it won't do. I'll give you an instance in which the experiment was tried. There lived a king, as I've been told, in the wonder-working days of old, when hearts were twice as good as gold, and 20 times as mellow. Good temper triumphed in his face, and in his heart he found a place for all the erring human race, and every wretched fellow. When he had Rhenish wine to drink, it made him very sad to think that some at junket or at jink must be content with toddy.
With toddy, must be content with toddy.
He wished all men as rich as he, and he was rich as rich could be. So to the top of every tree promoted everybody.
Now that's the kind of king for me. He wished all men as rich as he. So to the top of every tree promoted everybody.
Lord Chancellors were cheap as sprats, and bishops in their shovel hats were plentiful as tabby cats. In point of fact, too many. Ambassadors cropped up like hay, prime ministers and such as they grew like asparagus in May, and dukes were 3 a penny. On every side field marshals gleamed, small beer were lords lieutenant deemed, with admirals the ocean teemed all round his wide dominions.
With admirals around his wide dominions.
And party leaders you might meet in 2s and 3s in every street, maintaining with no little heat their various opinions.
Now that's a sight you couldn't beat, 2 party leaders in each street, maintaining with no little heat their various opinions.
That king, although no one denies, his heart was of abnormal size, yet he'd have acted otherwise if he'd had been acuter. The end is easily foretold when every blessed thing you hold is made of silver or of gold. You long for simple pewter when you have nothing else to wear but cloth of gold and satins rare. For cloth of gold you cease to care. Up goes the price of shoddy.
Of shoddy, up goes the price of shoddy.
In In short, whoever you may be, to this conclusion you'll agree. When everyone is somebody, then no one's anybody.
Now that's as plain can be. To this conclusion we agree. When everyone is somebody, then no one's anybody.
And now I have some important news to communicate. His Grace the Duke of Plaza-Toro, Her Grace the Duchess, and their beautiful daughter Casilda, I say, their beautiful daughter Casilda,
We heard you.
have arrived at Barataria and may be here at any moment.
Duke and Duchess are nothing to us.
But the daughter, the beautiful daughter, ah! Oh, you're a lucky dog, one of you.
I think you're a very incomprehensible old gentleman.
Not a bit, I'll explain. Many years ago when you, whichever you are, were a baby, you, whichever you are, were married to a little girl who has grown to be the most beautiful young lady in Spain. That beautiful young lady will be here to claim you, whichever you are, in half an hour. And I congratulate that one, whichever it is, with all my heart.
Married when a baby.
But we were married 3 months ago.
One of you, only one. The other, whichever it is an unintentional bigamist.
Well, upon my word!
Who are these young people?
Who are we? Why, their wives, of course. We just arrived.
Their wives? Oh dear, this is very unfortunate. Oh dear, this complicates matters. Dear, dear, what will Her Majesty say?
And do you mean to say that one of these monarchs was already married? And that neither of us will be a queen?
That is the idea I intended to convey.
Oh, Tessa, my dear, dear child.
Get away. Perhaps it's you.
My poor, poor little woman.
Don't. Who knows whose husband you are? And pray, why didn't you tell us all about this before they left Venice?
Because if I had, no earthly temptation would have induced these gentlemen to leave two such extremely fascinating and utterly irresistible little ladies.
There's something in that.
I may mention that you will not be kept long in suspense, as the old lady who nursed the royal child is at present in the torture chamber, waiting for me to interview her.
Oh, poor old girl. Hadn't you better go and put her out of her suspense?
Oh, no, there's no hurry. She's all right. She has all the illustrated papers. However, I'll go and interrogate her. And in the meantime, may I suggest the absolute propriety of your regarding yourselves as single, young ladies. Good evening.
Well, here's a pleasant state of things.
Delightful. Now, one of us is married to two young ladies, and nobody knows which, and the other is married to one young lady whom no one can identify.
And one of us is married to one of you, and the other is married to nobody. But which of you is married to which of us? And what's to become of the other?
It's quite simple. Observe. 2 husbands have managed to acquire 3 wives. 3 wives, 2 husbands. That's 2/3 of a husband for each wife.
Oh, Mount Vesuvius! Here we are in arithmetic. My good sir, one can't marry a vulgar fraction.
right to call me a vulgar fraction.
Oh, we are getting rather mixed. The situation is entangled. Let's try and comb it out.
In a contemplative fashion and a tranquil frame of mind, free from every kind of passion, some solution let us find. Let us grasp the situation, solve the complicated plot. Quiet, calm deliberation disentangles every knot. I no doubt Giuseppe wedded, that's of course a slice of luck. He's rather underheaded, still distinctly he's a duck. I a victim too of Cupid, Marco married, that is clear. He's particularly stupid, still distinctly he's a dear.
To Gianetta I was mated, I can prove it in a trice. Though her charms are overrated, still I own she's rather nice.
I to Tessa willingly all at once a victim fell. She is what is called a silly, but she answers pretty well. She's a silly, though she answers pretty well.
Now when we were pretty babies, someone married us, that's clear.
And if I can catch her, I'll pinch her and scratch her and send her away with a flea in her ear.
Who that young lady married to receive her can't refuse.
If I overtake her, I'll warrant I'll make her to shake in her aristocratic push. If she married your Giuseppe, you and he will have to part. If I have to do it, I'll warrant she'll rue it. I'll teach her to marry the man of my heart. If she married Messer Marco, you're a spinster. No matter if I can get at her, I doubt if her mother will know her again. If I have to do it, no matter if I can get at her, I doubt if her mother will know her again.
She is naked with a silly, you're a silly,
Quiet, calm deliberation disentangles every knot.
With ducal pomp and ducal pride, announce these comers, kettle drummers, comes Balateria's high on brightly sounding cymbals high. She comes to claim the royal hand, proclaim their graces, double priests of the king who rules this holy land, in praise and crosses high. She comes to claim the royal hand, in praise and crosses high.
This polite attention touches heart of duke
And heart of a duchess who resigned their fate.
with profound regret.
She of beauty was a model.
When a tiny tiddle-toddle, and at 21,
She's excelled by none.
at 21,
She's excelled by none at 21.
she's excelled by
She
none.
comes to claim the royal hand, proclaim the graces, double voices of the king who rules this goodly land. He prays and crosses back.
Be good enough to inform His Majesty that His Grace, the Duke of Plaza-Toro, Limited, has arrived and seeks
Desires.
Demands.
and demands an audience. And now, my child, prepare to receive the husband to whom you were united under such interesting and romantic circumstances.
But which is it? There are two of them.
It is true that at present His Majesty is a double gentleman, but as soon as the circumstances of his marriage are ascertained, he will, ipso facto, boil down to a single gentleman, thus presenting the unique example of an individual who becomes both a single man and a married man by the same operation.
I have known instances in which the characteristics of both conditions existed concurrently in the same individual.
He couldn't have been a Plaza-Toro.
No, couldn't he though?
Well, whatever happens, I shall of course be a dutiful wife. But I can never love my husband.
Oh, I don't know. It's extraordinary what unprepossessing people one can love, if one gives one's mind to it.
I loved your father.
My love, that remark is a little harsh, I think. Somewhat cruel, perhaps. Somewhat uncalled for, I venture to believe.
Oh, it was very difficult, my dear. But I said to myself, that man is a duke, and I will love him. Several of my relations bet me I couldn't. But I did. Desperately. On the day when I was wedded to your admirable sire, I acknowledge that I dreaded an explosion of desire. I was overcome with panic, for his temper was volcanic, and I didn't dare revolt, for I feared a thunderbolt. I was always very wary, for his fury was ecstatic, his refined vocabulary most unpleasantly emphatic. To the thunder of this charter I knocked under like a martyr. When intently he was fuming, I was gently unassuming. When reviling me completely, I was smiling very sweetly. I was smiling very sweetly, very sweetly, giving him the very best and getting back the very worst. That is how I tried to tame your great progenitor at first, giving him the very best and getting back the very worst. That is how I tried to tame your great progenitor. But I found that her reliance on my threatening appearance, and a resolute defiance of my vital interference, and a gentle intimation of my firm determination to see what I could do, to be wife and husband too, was the only thing required for to make his temper supple, and you couldn't have desired a more reciprocating couple, ever willing to be wooing. We were billing, we were cooing. When I merely from him parted, we were nearly broken-hearted. When in sequel reunited, we were equally delighted. We were equally delighted, delighted. So with double-shotted guns and colours nailed unto the mast, I tamed your insignificant progenitor at last. So with double-shotted guns and colours nailed unto the mast, I tamed your insignificant progenitor at last.
My only hope is that when my husband sees what a shady family he has married into, he will repudiate the contract altogether.
Shady? A nobleman shady who is blazing in the lustre of unaccustomed pocket money? A nobleman shady who can look back on 95 quarterings Oh! It's not every nobleman who is 95 quarters in arrears. I mean, who can look back on 95 of them? Oh. And this, just as I have been floated at a premium. Oh, fie.
Your Majesty is surely unaware that directly Your Majesty's father came before the public, he was applied for over and over again.
My dear, Her Majesty's father was in the habit of being applied for over and over again, and very urgently too, long before he was registered under the Limited Liability Act. To help unhappy commoners and add to their enjoyment, affords a man of noble rank congenial employment. Of our attempts we offer you examples illustrative. The work is light, and I may add, it's most remunerative. Small titles and orders for mayors and recorders I get, and they're highly delighted.
They're highly delighted.
MPs baroneted, sham colonels gazetted, and second-rate aldermen knighted.
Yes, aldermen knighted.
Foundation stone laying I find very paying. It adds a large sum to my making.
Large sum to his makings.
At charity dinners, the best of speech spinners, I get 10% on the takings.
1/10 of the takings. I present any lady whose conduct is shady or smacking of doubtful propriety.
Doubtful propriety.
When virtue would quash her, I take and whitewash her and launch her in first-rate society.
First-rate society.
I recommend acres of clumsy dressmakers, their fit and their finishing touches.
Their finishing touches.
A sum in addition they pay for permission to say that they make for the Duchess.
They make for the Duchess. Those pressing purveyors, the ready-made tailors, quote me as their great double barrel.
Their great double barrel.
I allow them to do so, though Robinson Crusoe would cheep at their wearing apparel.
Such wearing apparel.
I sit by selection upon the direction of several companies' bubble.
All companies bubble.
As soon as they're floated, I freely banknoted. I'm pretty well paid for my trouble.
He's paid for his trouble. At middle-class party I play and take party, and I'm by no means a beginner.
She's not a beginner.
To one of my station the remuneration 5 guineas a night and my dinner.
And wine with her dinner.
I write letters blatant on medicine's patent, and use any other you mustn't.
Believe me, you mustn't.
And vow my complexion derives its perfection from soft body soap, which it doesn't.
It certainly doesn't. We're ready as witness to anyone's fitness to fill any place or preferment.
A place or preferment. We're often in waiting at junket or fating, and sometimes attend an interment.
We enjoy an interment. In short, if you'd kindle the spark of a swindle, your simpletons into your clutches, yes, into your clutches. Or Baldwin Cadetta, you cannot do better
than trot out a duke or a duchess.
A duke or a duchess. Ah, their majesties. Your Majesty.
The Duke of Plaza-Toro, I believe.
The same. Allow me to present...
The young lady one of us married.
Gentlemen, I am the most obedient servant of one of you. Oh, Luiz.
I am now about to address the gentleman whom my daughter married. The other may allow his attention to wander if he likes, for what I am about to say does not concern him. Sir, you will find in this young lady a combination of excellences you would search for in vain in any young lady who had not the good fortune to be my daughter. There is some little doubt as to which of you is the gentleman who is allowing his attention to wander, and which the gentleman I am addressing. But once that doubt is solved, I shall say, still addressing the attentive gentleman, take her, and may she make you happier than her mother has made me.
Sir!
If possible. There is now a little matter to which I think I am entitled to draw exception. I come here in state with Her Grace the Duchess and Her Majesty my daughter, and what do I find? Do I find, for instance, a guard of honor to receive me? No.
No.
The town illuminated? No.
No.
Refreshment provided? No.
No.
A royal salute fired? No.
No.
Triumphal arches erected? No.
No.
The bells set ringing?
No.
Yes. One. The visitors, and I rang it myself. It is not enough. It is not enough.
Upon my honor, I'm very sorry. But you see, I was brought up in a gondola, and my ideas of politeness are confined to taking off my cap to my passengers when they tip me.
Well, that's all very well in its way, but it is not enough.
I'll take off anything else in reason.
Oh.
But a royal salute for my daughter. It costs so little.
Papa, I don't want a salute.
My dear sir, as soon as we know which of us is entitled to take that liberty, she shall have as many salutes as she likes.
As for guards of honor and triumphal arches, you don't know our people. They wouldn't stand for it.
They're very offhand with us, very offhand indeed.
Oh, but you mustn't allow that. No. You must keep them in proper discipline. You must impress your court with your importance. You want deportment, carriage.
We've got a carriage.
Manner, dignity. There must be a great deal of this sort of thing. And just a little of this sort of thing. And possibly just a soupçon of this sort of thing. And so on. Oh, it's very useful and most effective. Just attend to me. You are a king. Yes. And I am a subject. Very good. I am a courtier grave and serious, who is about to kiss your hand. Try to combine a pose imperious with a demeanor nobly bland.
Let us combine a pose imperious with a demeanor nobly bland.
That's if anything too unbending, too aggressively stiff and grand. Now to the other extreme you're tempting. Don't be seductively condescending.
Now to the other extreme you're tempting. Don't be so cleverly condescending.
Oh, hard to please some noblemen seem, at first, if anything, too unbending.
Or if we go to the other
Now a gavotte performed sedately, offer your hand with conscious pride. Take an attitude not too stately, still sufficiently dignified.
Now for an attitude not too stately, still sufficiently dignified.
Oncely, twicely, oncely, twicely, bow impressively ere you lie. Capital both, you caught it nicely. That is the style of thing precisely.
Capital bow, you caught it nicely. That is the style of thing precisely.
All sleeves go on nobleman's praise. Capital boat, we caught it nicely. Supposing he's right in what he says, this is the style of thing precisely.
The old birds have gone away and left the young chickens together. That's called tact.
It's very awkward. We really ought to tell her how we're situated. It's not fair on the girl.
Then why don't you do it?
I'd rather not. You.
But I don't know how to begin. Madam, we, that is several of us.
Gentlemen, I am bound to listen to you. But it is right to tell you that, not knowing that I was married in infancy, well, I am over head and ears in love with someone else.
Well, our case exactly. We are over head and ears in love with somebody else. In point of fact, with our wives.
Your wives? And you are married.
It's not our fault. We knew nothing about it. We are sisters of misfortune.
Oh, my good girls, I don't blame you. Only, we must really arrive at some satisfactory arrangement, or things shall get hopelessly complicated.
Here's a case unprecedented, here are a king and queen is found. Ever since marriage was first invented, never was known a case so hard. I may be said to have been bisected by a profound catastrophe.
Through a calamity unexpected, I am divisible into three.
I may be said to have been bisected.
I am divisible into three. Through a calamity, I am divisible into three.
Oh, morally so, how can you go? Marriage a state of unity, when excellent husbands are bisected, wives are divisible into three. Oh, morally so, how can you go? Marriage a state of unity, unity. Morally so, how can you go? Marriage a state of unity. Morally so, how can you go? Marriage a state of unity.
the lieges gather round. The prince's foster mother has been found. She will declare to silver clarion sound the rightful king. Let him forthwith be crowned. She will declare to silver clarion sound the rightful king. Let him forthwith be crowned.
Speak, woman, speak.
We're all attention.
The news we seek, this moment mentioned. To us they bring.
His foster mother.
Is he the king?
Or this my brother?
Speak, woman, speak! Speak, woman, speak!
The royal prince was by the king entrusted to my fond care ere I grew old and crusted, when traitors came to steal his son reputed. My own small boy I deftly substituted. The villains fell into the trap completely. I hid the prince away, still sleeping sweetly. I called him son with pardonable slyness. His name, Luiz. Behold his royal highness.
Casilda!
Is this indeed the king? A wondrous revelation, for unexpectedly situation.
This statement we receive with sentiments conflicting, our hearts rejoice and grieve, each other contradicting. To those whom we adore, we can be reunited. On one point rather sore, but on the whole delighted.
When others claimed thy dainty hand, I waited, waited, waited.
As prudence, so I understand, dictated, tated, tated.
By virtue, recorded.
Your pure and patient love is now rewarded, warded.
Then came a king from a golden land, and the high old knight who waves his hand. The past is dead, and you gain your own, a royal crown and a golden throne. Once more, Gondoliers, both skillful and wary, free from this Palmieri, contented are we. From royalty flying, our conductors flying, and merrily crying, our friend must leave. So goodbye to Chuka, and then go Bolero, we'll dance a farewell to the measure. Oh, serious until Mazamia, Montero will leave you with feelings of pleasure. Once more, Gondoliers, both skillful and wary, free from this Palmieri, contented are we. Gondoliers, Giuseppe